Hi ICX in Austria, welcome to ICX Sales Academy episode 0. So let me just start with why we have decided to have this video overall. I think if you saw me the past days, I have been approaching you as crazy and just like, hey, I came from Expo and I have some cool stuff to tell you about, and this is true. So I've been to this awesome Europe Region ICEC conference recently, and I had a very cool session from 2 ICEC alumni who now work at LinkedIn, and they are top salespeople there, which is quite cool. And they have decided to share their knowledge with us on how to do sales properly. Based on their experience in ICEC, based on their experience outside of ICEC, they did a lot of sales overall, and they did want to share something useful. And I'm telling you honestly, it has inspired me to change the approach of the way we do sales in ICEC in Austria overall, because I found that information so useful and valuable. I wanted to share it with you right away. That is why we are filming this video right now, and Sophia, welcome. Sophia, she's here to help me out a little bit, and yeah, she was just around, so welcome, Sophia.
Thank you for your
I will start right away with 2 pictures. I have a little quiz for you and for all of you watching. I'm actually curious if you can recognize this guy. Do you know who he is?
Yes, that's Usain Bolt.
That's Usain Bolt. And do you know what he's famous for? By any chance?
Running. He set the world record for 100 meters.
Exactly. Do you remember how long did it take him to run 100 meters?
I think it was like 9 seconds, but I'm not sure. Like, don't quote me on
9 something.
I believe 981,
58.
I'm not sure.
Anyway, do you know who this person is?
No, doesn't look familiar.
Okay, his name, I even wrote it from here because I wanted to remember myself. His name is Jesse Owens, and he is the person who held the world record as the fastest person in the world before Usain Bolt. So he was the fastest one, then Usain Bolt beat him, and his result was only 1 second less than Usain Bolt. And in the world of running, this 1 second is a huge difference. But also, if we think why he was why Usain Bolt was way more successful, probably because since 1986 or something, when this guy was the top one, the running technology has developed a lot. So we have all these massages, diets, personal coaches, emotional mentors, people who help you to develop spiritually, to run your best run, and so on and so forth, who just turn running into such a cult and well-prepared thing that it's way easier to run than for the person 10 years ago, right? And using this technology, Usain Bolt is actually capable of being the fastest person in the world. He is. And why I'm telling you all of this and why we're making this analogy is simply because, as well as the running world, business world is developing as well. And in business world, there are also new techniques, new approaches, new things that work, and the old things that used to work before are no longer valuable or no longer that relevant right now. And that is why this video is called No More Cold Calls. That doesn't mean that we will stop doing cold call, guys. Please don't cross it out of your weekly plans. Please do not. That simply means that we will switch to doing warm calls instead of cold calls, right?
Yes.
Good. Just to give you a little bit of intro information on this. First thing we have to understand before overall even talking about cold calls, warm calls, it doesn't matter, is that as ICEC, we are offering 2 amazing, awesome products, IGE and IGT. And it's relevant for IGB as well, by the way. I don't know why I'm so exclusive, but the products we offer are awesome. If you think about our main competitors in the field of HR, you will think about HR agencies, right? Do you know any names of them now?
No, not like Parliament.
I think I remember Hunter. Okay, different platforms as well, online platforms, right? Plus HR agencies. And the guys actually told us at this session at the conference that they charge quite a lot. Like the numbers they told us were 20% of the year salary of the person the company would employ. Can you imagine? This is like a lot. In ICX we charge how much for G?
For the interns?
Yeah.
To the startups?
Yeah.
Depends, but like between 300 and 1,500 euros.
3,000, 1,300, 1,500 depends on the accommodation, of course. But the main thing is that we do not charge that much as HR agencies do. It's super affordable. And besides, when HR agency is done on the moment of selection of the person, we do way more. We do logistical support, visa support. We find accommodation. We help this person to integrate in the local realities. This is true, and we source this talent from abroad, of course. And the thing that this value is awesome. And our top one problem, which stops us from doing more sales and from being more confident in sales, is that sometimes we do not recognize that. Like, it's easy to understand why. Our members and us also, we are in an organization for like half a year, maybe a couple of months. Your new members will join soon, and this information will be, by the way, super relevant for them. People do not know ICX that well. They do not know that for their organization is only they have a month's experience, but organization exists already for 70 years. And for 70 years we are bringing and running successful HR processes. And this is something super valuable, super attractive for super low pricing. And this is the key thing we should keep in mind while going into sales and while doing sales, in order to understand that we are actually offering valuable product and we should not be chasing people and following them around in order to offer that. So today I will be giving you one simple technique. It's called BANT, B-A-N-T, and it stands for 4 simple words, four simple things you need to check while talking to startup or company. It's budget, authority, need, and timeline. How those things come in the picture, I will describe you in just a couple of minutes. Before we go further, I want to tell you that the key things that the guys taught us during this session at the conference is that usually we start with the call. So we have research information about companies somewhere in some internet source on some website, and after we just call them right away and we tell them, hi, we are from ICX, we are offering this and this program, would it be interesting for you, would you want to have a meeting? And this is wrong. This is exactly the definition of the cold call we want to avoid, and this is something we would not want to do in the future. What guys have offered to us as a structure of our sales approach is to first start with an email. So to combine and write an email to the startup or to the company you want to approach, not even attaching proposal, not giving any tons of information about your product, but just making it super personal and researching about this startup and company and putting it in the email. For example, I saw you got funding, I saw you moved into a new office, I saw that on your website you're looking for new employees, I saw that you released new product. Look for the stuff like that and compile really 1 or 2 sentences of unique introduction, saying that you think that we can cooperate or they can make use of your services, of our services, organization in this case. And then offer them to have a 10-minute call. 10-minute call, 20-minute call, it really doesn't matter. But the thing is, with this email, you are asking them to have a call with you in advance. You are no longer that annoying person who just calls and just like disrupting the workday, asking them to listen about something they hear for the first time in their lives, or even if not for the first time. By the way, I got but feedback from some startups that they were quite annoyed with ICX because we called them like 100 times and kept pushing for something. The thing and the key thing in this is that you cannot offer something not knowing background information about the company. To them it sounds simply irrational because some external person is calling, offering something, not showing that we know their reality and we know their business, and this is the key thing. So in this event, you just ask for a call. You ask to have this call specifically on Thursday, on Friday, at this and this time. Can I shortly call you to introduce myself to you? That's what happens first. So I will ask Sophia to mention that I'm a startup CEO and she is an ICX member, and she already sent me this email asking to have a short call, and I already agreed to have it. And now we are having the short call. Yeah, okay, I will even turn back from you, so we are not in one room. You're just calling me. Here we go.
Hello. Hello. This is Sophia calling from ICX. Is this Karina from Infralace?
Yeah, it's me.
Oh, great. Nice to hear from you finally. I've sent an email to you a couple of days ago regarding this call.
Yeah, we agreed to have a call, so yeah.
Well, I just wanted to say that I'm very happy that you've agreed to it and that we might be collaborating in the future. Because I have this amazing project called Empower Austria that we're offering right now, where we bring international students to come to work for their startup for the duration of maximum 3 months on the basis of unpaid internship. And I know that you want to internationalize your office, so I would say this would be very I'd say this might be very interesting to you, and it's also affordable.
How about you email me this information? I can take a look.
Yes, sure, that won't be a problem. Would you be interested in having a meeting, for example, tomorrow or on Friday at lunchtime, maybe?
No, I'm very busy this week.
So next week, maybe?
Just email this to my assistant. She will take a look. Yeah, let's do that.
Okay. Thank you for the call.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you so much.
Very disappointing phone call. Couldn't raise a meeting.
But that's okay. What do you think was? No, it's not okay. What do you think was wrong with your call? What could have been better?
Well, I should have made it a bit more personalized, I think. Because I did say that, for example, I know that you want to internationalize your office, but I could maybe focus more on your actual products, like sub-product, than just going into it and telling you that we have this amazing product. So, yeah, I think that's something I would have done better.
This is true, and this is exactly what we're going to be talking about right now. Not selling something to startups right away during the first call, but actually getting to know them better and then offering something you want to offer. And here is where BANT comes into place. But yeah, I will say thank you to Sophia.
Thank you for having me.
She made her all happen. Now you can go and actually call people.
Thank you.
Yeah, but after watching this video, okay? Okay, good. See you next time. Good, so to be fair, I did exactly the same call at Euro Export during this session, and guys just roasted me very, very badly. They said that that's the call they would make 7 years ago in ICX, and I was super ashamed, but I told them honestly, yeah guys, that's really the way we do calls right now. We call and we right away offer our Empower Austria project and say that we are from ICX, the biggest youth-led organization. And they told me, yeah, like, first of all, you never say that what is ICX, no one cares about it. They care only about the value we can bring to them. And I agree to that. But furthermore, I also realized for myself that, of course, we need to collect some information about the startup. And coming back to that flow of us sending the email first and then going into this 10-20 minute call, what you should actually cover during this call is called BANT. Budget, authority, need, and the timeline. And how it follows is that, how it works overall, is that during this call you do not talk about your product yet. You are getting to know the startup or the company you are calling to. So it works best if 80% of the time you are asking coaching sales questions to get to know the company better, and only shortly you talk about your service. Then I told the guys in the session that, okay, I feel that it should be going this way, but to be honest, I don't know those questions and I don't feel comfortable asking some personal, business-related questions to the startup, to the company I'm talking to for the first time. And they told me it's absolutely okay. It's normal to ask those questions, and furthermore, they gave us the list of the questions that should be asked. Of course, not all of them, but the questions that will help you to get to know the startups better. And what my recommendation is to memorize as much as possible of them, go through them. I will attach the link to those questions in the caption of this video, so you can print them out for you and have them right away, right there. And we'll go through each category right now, so stay tuned. So, coming back to BANT, we do not start with budget. This is something that stays till the last meters of the call, but we start with need. The first questions you need to ask is there to identify if a startup actually needs your product. And why is it also that important to have this short call before you go in the meeting and before you push for a meeting with a startup, is also to eliminate the number of meetings which you could have avoided. Remember how many times you went to a meeting just to find out that startups simply do not have a budget to take part in our project, or they do not have capacity right now to take an intern, or they do not need an intern with the current workload of operations. Those are the questions. Asking those questions, you can eliminate and filter all those startups in the process and not waste your time on the ones you don't need to have meeting with, right? So it simplifies your life and it simplifies your job. The questions you need to ask first are there to identify if startup needs your product. And I have them on my phone. I will literally read them out loud to you so you can remember them better. But they are super simple. Just listen to it. How many people did you recruit in the last 12 months? This question allows you to understand how fast is the startup growing, what is they need into recruiting people. Both startup and company, doesn't matter. What are your hiring expectations for the following months? So you get to know if they are planning to hire a new person in the nearest future. Then question number 3. Do you have an internship program set up? If no, why not? Do you have an international focus in the company, which helps you to understand if they are planning to expand somewhere, which is very useful for us, right? What are the language skills you need in the company? Again, if they need the person who speaks Italian or the person who speaks Chinese, you can identify it right away and keep it in mind for a meeting. What other skills are you looking for in your employees? For you to already get to know what kind of profiles guys would be looking for. So you can start with those questions, and then you can move pretty much in the questions of budget. So let me check the questions for budget. Okay, so budget-wise, those questions are important for you to find out if they are having financial capability to host an intern. And the first question you might ask is, how are you currently recruiting? So you can get to know if they're using any external recruitment agencies. Are you using recruitment agencies? Is question number 2. Are you using some job postals? Because already knowing our competitors, if you remember the fact I told you at the beginning that they charge quite a lot and they do less services than we provide, guys told me that if they knew this, it was an easy win for them, because it means that they are offering already a better product for less price with more services, and the company would most likely go for it. Are you attending university job fairs, which are also quite pricey, by the way? How many people do you recruit each year? So it also helps you to understand, let's say, if they recruit 12 people each year, and as I told you before, usually it's like 20% of the annual salary of the person that HR agencies charge. They are spending a lot of money right away. Good. The next one is what is important to do is to also set a timeline. And regarding this, what we can do here is to actually create sequence of events. So let's say you are talking to startup and you already talked about the need, you already talked about the budget, By the way, speaking of need, if asking those questions, you might even help them to identify this need, because what if they didn't think about it anymore? What if they are just starting to think about recruiting some new people because they are expanding? So asking those questions, you show that you are interested in them and that you are collecting some information to see if you can be useful to them, which is really, really nice. Then, regarding the sequence of events, when you talk to startup during this 10-20 minutes call, you offer the meeting at some point, right? So you don't tell a lot about your product, you still are staying super intriguing to make them curious, but you say that, okay, I see that our services can be of use for you, or I see that you can be a valuable addition to our project. And you say at some point, how about we have a meeting this Thursday or Friday, and I will show you our proposal that we have for you. In this way, you offer the meeting and then you introduce that sequence of events. So let's say we have this meeting on Thursday and we can discuss the deal right away if we see that we have a match, connection, and if furthermore, I can give you time till Monday to think about it and to take the decision. In that way, you already set a deadline for startups till when they need to take the decision. And then you say, okay, if we decide positively, we can proceed with the contract signing, and I would send you the first candidate as an intern already next Thursday. So it also creates an expectation regarding the timeline, and it can help us, especially with our startups being a little bit slow, to put them in the process and to push to make it faster. Then, of course, you can ask questions such as how long does decision making take in your startup, and so on and so forth. And the last category, it's called authority, and this is also a very, very important one, because sometimes it happens that you are talking not to the right person, right? You might be talking to an intern or to the person responsible for marketing on some lower level, and you need to identify already during this call if you need to involve some other person in the decision-making process. That is why you can use questions such as, do we need to involve someone else in this meeting except you? In this way, it's a very good phrase question, because it still emphasizes the importance of the person you are talking to, because you say that you are already involved in the decision process, but who else except you might be responsible for taking the decision. And in that way you are being very nice and polite to the person, but also you are asking if some other decision maker is needed during the meeting. Or questions like, I don't know, who else, how this decision-making process works in your company is also very helpful and useful. So once again, guys, BANT, budget, authority, need, timeline, those are the questions you need to cover during this call. After that, you simply go in the meeting, and a very good trick which guys also introduced to us, if your proposal is editable, and I'm talking to Julian right now to see if we can make our proposal editable. Of course, it's nice if you can add company's logo, you can adapt a little bit, and if at the first page of the proposal, you put the output of your meeting. So you write, okay, those are the conclusions we came up, not of the meeting. And it's super nice if on the first page of this proposal you put the output of your call. So you will say that we came up with these conclusions, we say that your company has a need for a marketer or for salesperson, and that's what we offer, and then it goes with our basic part of our proposal. But this is very nice move, because it shows that you have listened to the startup. You did not simply come and, trust me guys, I went to the meetings with some of you, and it's simply someone, I'm not saying about everyone, but sometimes what you do is you open a proposal and you read it from the very beginning till the end, not even giving space for companies to ask questions, which is not a good thing to do, because they are not interested to know everything, every little aspect and every little detail about us. They will ask you the specific questions they need to know. But what is good to show is that you have listened to them and you personalized this proposal and you are coming into this meeting already prepared. And what I can tell you is that conversion from this meeting will be already way higher because you already filtered through the startups and companies you don't need to talk to. And because you also showed your interest, your personal connection, and the fact that you are actually interested in making the win-win situation happen and providing a good service to this company.